1, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling. I am your host, the Wizard CZ. Joining me, as always, my tag team champion partner, Never Wrong Nick Bull. Mr. Bull, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, CZ. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. We're coming off a wild weekend and a great start to the year in wrestling, in my opinion. I'm excited. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and not to take away from what you said. Yeah, 2025 off to a big start. If you tuned into our show this past week, Card Subject to Change, we had on WrestlingObserverNewsletter.com's Ryan Howard, who reviews AEW Dynamite and pay-per-views for WrestlingObserverNewsletter.com, and had him on, and we're talking about the two shows this weekend and kind of a good start to the new year. We had a good match with Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd that everyone's talking about. But I think there's some other things we could talk about coming out of the shows this past weekend. So CZ, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I know we've kind of talked about this over the last couple of weeks with the with the toilet paper streamers and where he's been going, but I think we need to give a little love instead of a little negativity towards Ricochet. I mean, he's been acting for all intents and purposes like a doofus over the last month or two since he's come into AEW, saying outlandish things like AEW wouldn't exist if it weren't for him. But after he attacked Swerve on Dynamite last week, he's taken a turn for the better, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's made a decision, or maybe this is the plan all along, to kind of embrace this. I know it's not fun getting toilet paper and stuff thrown at you, but I think the fact that he's gone on social media and said some stupid stuff, he said what you said about there wouldn't be AEW without him. He's kind of getting out there, and maybe he's playing all of us by doing that. Maybe it's part of this new character where he's all in on just being a not liked but hated person.
Yeah.
I think if he embraces that, there's nothing but good things for him in the future, because right now he just kind of gets lost in the shuffle being, the baby face who can do a spot here or there. I think this is going to do good things for him. I think it's going to develop his character. I think the wrestling is going to get better too. He might start wrestling a different style, and it might be more effective, and it might be more appeasing to the fan. Like, the fan may like it more. And that's all because he's embracing this hate. So I hope he embraces this hate for sure. I mean, this past weekend it paid dividends for him. I mean, he main evented a pay-per-view in Japan at the Tokyo Dome for the New Japan Pro Wrestling title against Zack Sabre Jr. So, probably the Ricochet of the past got him that match with Zack Sabre Jr., but I do believe big things are in store for him if he continues to go down this road and embrace this hate and be this heel and just feed off of it.
Oh, for sure. And it's something we haven't seen in Ricochet. I didn't follow him much when he was on the indies before he got to WWE, so I don't know if he's ever been a heel in his past, but this is definitely a new Ricochet for me, and a new Ricochet for a lot of casual fans out there who know him for just his flippies.
Right.
And
the fact now that he jumped Swerve, I mean, this is going to be great.
Yes.
I mean, Swerve, I think he's got this charisma to him, and I think Swerve could work with anyone. And that's not saying that, Ricochet doesn't work with people, but I think this Swerve and Ricochet is going to be magic, because we've seen the depths and the links at how far Ricochet or how far Swerve is willing to go.
Oh,
how
absolutely.
far he's willing to go to get the upper hand in not only a match, but a feud. This is only going to elevate Ricochet and make him step his game up. and then the benefactor is going to be us. So whether you like Ricochet or not, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but want to give him his kudos because he is doing some good things. He's taking note that the fans really hate him, so he's embracing it. And on top of that, he finds himself headlining a pay-per-view in Japan, and now I think a big 2025 for him once this AEW programming begins to kick off and unfold here, with their new streaming deal with Max, and of course, being on TBS as well.
And I think Swerve is an excellent dance partner for his first major feud. I mean, yeah, he was thrust into the Continental Classic, but he hasn't really had a feud or a rivalry in AEW as of yet. And Swerve, I think, will, like you said, it will only elevate him because of who Swerve is and what he brings to the table. I think it's going to be good, and I'm anxious to see what happens. I hope he continues on this path of embracing the hate and, for all intents and purposes, as a Star Wars nerd, turning to the dark side.
Yeah, for sure. And we want to hear from you what you guys think about Ricochet. Do you think he's in for a big year 2025? Do you think he's doing the right thing by embracing this hate and kind of, turning his cheek and becoming the heel here? So we'll soon find out. Please let us know. Like, follow, and subscribe. I'm at Nick Bull 55. Never wrong, Nick Bull. He is the Wizard CZ at the Wizard CZ. Hit us up on socials. We want to interact with you and see what you have to say. I know it was great, just a few nights ago, interacting with the fans and seeing, fresh face, new faces, old faces at the SCW Pro Show at the Prestige Rumble. It was great interacting with people. So actually met a couple people talked about the show there, and hopefully they're tuning in and hope we continue to have the conversations online. We were talking about wrestling last night at the show, and I hope they continue. So definitely hit us up on socials, like, follow, and subscribe. You got anything, CZ?
Yeah, and talking about interacting with the fans and the show coming up here, we have our first official interview. Ryan, I love Ryan to death, but he's more of an inside guy. I don't consider him an interview as much as helping us talk about things in AEW and New Japan. We have Justin Decent, who is an 18-year veteran of professional wrestling, prominent in Iowa, not necessarily here in the Quad Cities, someone we haven't talked to. I'm excited to hear a new perspective and a new story in the world of wrestling coming up next coming Sunday.
I am too. We got some good stuff planned for you here, not only in January, but for 2025 as well. Please stay tuned. Stick with us. If it's not only here on the Kickout, make sure it's the Card Subject to Change podcast, which we, air live on Sunday nights when we record it. We come at you midweek here at the Kickout. We want to be part of the rest of your wrestling conversation, part of your love of wrestling. We hope you can find a space here and come hang out with us. We love it. We'd love to have you. He is the Wizard CZ. I am never wrong, Nick Bull. This has been the Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.